Hello students. Our next topic in Unit 2 of SAPM is analysis patterns. Now this particular topic is not going to come for say more than 4 marks, but up to 2 to 4 marks. How to write the particular answer for this question is that there are different terms or different keywords which need to be explained for analysis patterns. Again, breaking the words, this complete topic talks about the analysis of various patterns or the patterns which are going to represent the analysis for the system which you have selected. For example, when you are going to detail about when you are going to specify or when you are going to elaborate the complete system which you are going to manufacture or develop, then there are few patterns which you need to follow when you are going to explain your system or specify or elaborate your system. Okay, so the very first thing is pattern name. Okay, now this particular pattern name will be the important domain or the problem area of your system or product. Okay, so what is the importance of that particular pattern or what is the importance of that particular project domain, that will be focused under pattern name. Next is intent. Now as the term is intention, that means what is the purpose behind developing that particular project. So that is the complete scenario of any analysis pattern, that is intention, purpose or motivation behind developing, creating or manufacturing that particular system or project. So that is what the pattern accomplishes or represents. Next is motivation. So you can say intent and motivation are going together here. So obviously motivation will be you are going to set few goals or objectives to satisfy that motivation or purpose behind development or manufacturing of that particular system or project. So motivation is a scenario that illustrates how the pattern solves a problem. So when you are going for searching a solution for your problem, obviously you are going to set number of goals or objectives to explain the steps how to solve the particular problem or how to represent the solution of that problem. Next is forces and context. That are the external issues, forces that affect how the pattern is used, and external issues resolved when the pattern is applied. So these are the factors which are going to explain as different issues or problems which are associated with the pattern which we are using. So obviously some kind of comparative study or comparative analysis must be there, that why you have chosen this particular pattern for your problem domain or system. And external issues resolved when the pattern is applied. So when you are going to deal with some external issues or external factors which are going to affect your system or your complete project, then obviously that pattern is going to play an important role. So you in any condition you need to justify the pattern which you are using for your system development. Solution, that whatever pattern you are applying to your project or system, is that particular pattern is going to solve the problem domain. So is that going to give you the actual required solution as per the customers or end users requirements? So these are the few questions, because whichever pattern you are selecting for your project, they should focus on structural and behavioral issues. So pattern must give solutions for such kind of structural and behavioral issues. Consequences, so obviously consequences will be what happens when the pattern is applied, when your business or trade-offs exist during its application. That means you have to be ready for all kind of situations or resultants, or you can say the outcome. Okay, for when you are going to apply any pattern for your project, obviously it will not be the case that every time that pattern is going to work successful for your project or system. So obviously you have to be ready, or your system must be ready to deal with some of the challenges or obstacles or some of the failure cases. Okay, design. How the pattern can be achieved via known design patterns. So you should be knowing what is the design of your current pattern which you are applying for your project, and which are the similar or related other design patterns. Okay, known uses, obviously applications of your actual project or system which you are developing, and related patterns will be the other patterns which will be related or associated with your selected pattern, because they are commonly used with the named pattern, or they are structurally similar to the named pattern or variation of named pattern. So whatever, so some kind of relations, associations need to be known when you are applying some pattern or some kind of specific pattern to your project. So all these terms, that is pattern name, intent, motivation, forces and context, solution, consequences, design, known uses and related patterns, are important terminologies when you are talking about analysis patterns. Now it is very rare that such kind of question will be arise in your exam, but still, if any kind of design and modeling question comes in your exam, then you can add this particular point in that design and modeling answer as analysis patterns, so you can easily frame the answer up to 6 marks. So this was about the analysis patterns. We are not going to go in detail. Negotiating requirements, obviously very first step after communication, we know that the requirement gathering and analysis is a very important step, and based on that particular SDLC step itself, this unit 2 is based, that is requirement analysis. So negotiating requirements, as we have come across this term negotiating in our earlier class, that is identifying the key stakeholders, the set of people who are going to actually use your system, or they are going to deal with your system. So these are the people who will be involved in the negotiation. Now determine each of the stakeholders win conditions, which we have already discussed in previous class, that some kind of mutual agreement or some kind of agreement need to be done which will be satisfying all the stakeholders who are involved in that deal, so that win-win situation will be there for each and every party. So obviously, as they have written, it is not always obvious, but we have to try to reach to that particular stage, and then negotiators work toward a set of requirements that lead to win-win situations. We have to take care about all the requirements coming from stakeholders. So if not actual accomplishment of those requirements can be done, but still you have to find out a midway or solution where all the requirements will be somewhat satisfied. So that is about negotiating requirements. And validating requirements, as we have come across this term many times, validating, that is some kind of assessment, monitoring, check. So obviously few questions we are going to ask here for checking or assessing the requirements. Is each requirement consistent with the objective of system? Have all requirements been specified at the proper level of abstraction? Then we can say, is the requirement really necessary? Is each requirement bounded and unambiguous? Does each requirement have some attribution or attributes? Do any requirements conflict with other requirements? Is each requirement achievable in the system's technical environment? So these are few questions where you are asking about testability, reflection of information function behavior, and whether it is appropriately partitioned. So each and every question are generalized sort of question where you are going to clarify whatever requirements you have gathered from the end user or stakeholder or customer, are they satisfying the complete project outcome or solution? Okay, so you have to verify, or you have to validate or assess or monitor or check the requirements in such way by asking relevant questions. Now just an example of CRG meeting, and this meeting is about a safe home project. So what they are actually discussing in this meeting, how requirements are gathered and planned, and how planning stage will take place after requirements phase. After Q&A session, there is inception meeting. Stakeholders write a 2-page product request which is delivered to those attending the first CRG meeting. So obviously when it is a product request kind of documentation, obviously all the requirements will be listed down there. Attendees are asked to make a rough list of objects, services, constraints, and performance criteria for the product. At the meeting, a combined list is created in each topic, and then subgroups will write mini specifications, okay, for each list item. So that kind of and that much of depth and detailing is required, because when you are going for product request, obviously that product is going to be composed of many parts. So each and every part mini specification, or each and every list items mini specification is required in documentation, and relevant features in mini specifications are added to the list. So similarly, the first safe home function we bring to market should be the home security function. So that is the main function or services offered by that particular system. So they are saying that it will recognize a variety of undesirable situations such as illegal entry, fire, flooding, carbon monoxide levels, and others. So these are the functionalities of that safe home security function or safeguard function. Now obviously this will be programmed by the homeowner and will automatically telephone a monitoring agency when a situation is detected. Then you can say these are the few terms which will play an important role when you are discussing the particular issue in the meeting. That is, which are the objects involved in this system development. Then what are the services offered by that system? What are the constraints or limitations while developing or manufacturing? And what are the performance criteria? So on which performance measures you are going to check the performance or accuracy, or you can say the throughput or efficiency of that system. And last is mini specification for control panel. That means there is one particular part which is taken from that safe home guard project, and that is a mini specification for control panel. So how you can give the specification of control panel with all the figures and dimensions here. So that is just an example given. So in such a way, we can say that our discussion of requirements, you can say gathering, analysis, and their engineering, everything is performed here. So one small example we have seen, and in the last 3 videos for unit 2 we have covered the introduction of requirements engineering. So obviously it starts with requirement collection by asking number of questions to the end user or customer, and once it is collected or gathered, all these requirements will be listed down as the priority, and then their detailing or analysis or specification starts. So here we are done with the we can say the introduction part of requirement engineering. So we'll move ahead with the next topic in next video. Thank you.